Hello and welcome to the new incumbents for the induction program. I'm Dr. Shashi Shankar A, Professor and Head of Civil Engineering. I have 35 years of experience in various institutes of repute, including RV College of Engineering for 25 years and JNTU as principal for 5 years. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a lecture which is going to be an eye-opener for all of us on waste management. I would rather call it Waste to Green Energy, a saga of bane to boon. So this is going to be a very important lecture that you will have to understand and assimilate. Okay, I will share my PPT with you. So you are seeing some kind of an ambience here. This is the Western Power building on green energy in Australia. Please note that you cannot make out anything from this as a generator of energy from the waste. So entire 40% of the energy requirements of the Western Australia is coming from this Western Power. So what do you mean by this? That means there is nothing called waste. So with this perspective, correct, I would like to move to the next slide. Energy. So energy everywhere, you are aware of energy, could be classified as different types of energy. One we generally come across is green energy. Then what is this green energy, right? And that let us understand about the renewable energy and the other types of energy. So basically, if you go to 230 BC, we had the Titiri school of Yajurveda. So the Vedic saints, correct, had the school called the Titiri school. The Taittiriya Upanishad was written during this period. And they enunciated that the whole world, right, we have the 5 great energy elements, 5 great energy elements called the Panchabhutas. That means we have the Akasha element, we have the Agni element, we have the Vayu element, we have the Prithvi element, and we have the Jala element. All these are the elements which formulate our entire universe. And please note that these cannot be just destroyed or created. It is there. And when it is not possible for you to destroy or create, then there is no question of what is called the waste, because you can always transform this from one to the other, or 2 of this to the other, or a multiple of this to the other form. And energy itself, right, we come across a word called the green energy. What do you mean then by green energy? It doesn't really mean anything. It means that the green energy is one which is not a manufactured energy, but it is a harnessed energy. So what do you mean by this again? So you have heard of the renewable energy. So what do you mean by this renewable energy? So you are seeing solar energy, correct? Solar energy, as long as the sun is there, it is going to be there. It is giving you the energy, correct? You are not manufacturing it but you are harnessing it. Like the wind energy, you're not manufacturing it, but you are harnessing it. So a green energy is not a manufactured energy. And it can be said that it is the spin-off energy from an industrial activity or a commercial activity or a domestic activity or an agricultural activity. So you call it the ICDA, ICDA. So please note that you have the further classification of the same energy as the conserved energy. It could have been conserved, right, in a form, or a donor energy, that the energy that is being donated to, right, other requirements, or the classified energy, or the recycled or the transformed energy, or the destructive energy, like in the nuclear power plant, right? What happens is destructive energy. And all this manifest as five great elements, either same, different, or in combinations. So please understand, this is a very important facet that we just go through. And of course, we have to now talk about waste. What is this waste and what to manage? So ICDA that I told you, industrial, commercial, domestic, and agricultural. So all these activities are giving us what is called the waste. Correct? Here again, I have to say one more thing, that we have the major classification. One is the organic waste, and the another one is the inorganic waste. So we have to deal with these two kinds of waste very separately. So we have, fortunately for us, enormous amount of organic waste which are biodegradable waste. So you can have a bacteria to eat the waste, to just consume the waste. So please note that we can have either aerobic bacteria or the anaerobic bacteria for consumption of this waste. And therefore, there could be a treatment methodology for this organic waste. But for inorganic waste, it is totally different. Say, for example, in a thermal power plant, you get what is called the fly ash, right? A 3 to 5 micron size particle, which is going out, right? Because of the coal burning happens there. And of course, because of the coal burning, you know that the carbon dioxide also goes out, and also the fly ash goes out. Please note that that's of mineral origin. In fact, it's got the predominantly silica and alumina, etc. And all these things are classified as inorganic waste. So whereas the organic waste is nothing but A atoms of carbon and B atoms of hydrogen and C atoms of nitrogen, etc. Right? This inorganic waste is a metallic waste kind of thing, right? And what do you have to do with this? So these are two different strategies we use, correct? And how do you just manage the organic waste? So organic waste will have to be digested, right, using the aerobic route or the anaerobic route. And you have the undigested waste also could be used for vermicomposting, and of course examples being the paper mill waste and the dairy sludges, you can do that. And of course the partially degraded organics in case of right the sewage sludges. Sewage sludges also have the microflora, nitrogen, of course, the phosphorus and potassium, all these things, and which are right nutrients. And of course, this can be used as fertilizers. Whereas the inorganic waste can be handled in a very different manner, because you cannot degrade using a bacteria. So what happens here is that you have to use it as a repository. That means you have to use it in a bank of a composite material which a civil engineer uses, correct? For example, you have to utilize it in bulk, that is called bulk utilization in concrete, etc. So in case of the concrete, it's called non-traditional concrete, right? And please note that if you are using this waste material in this kind of a concrete, which is a newly developed concrete, you call it a zero energy material. And this particular kind of research was extensively done at Indian Institute of Science by a great man called Amulya Kumar Reddy. And then further, it was taken up by Dr. K.S. Jagdish at Indian Institute of Science. And we have a major classification of the composites, which become the repository, right, which become the repository for this, that is CLSM and geopolymers, that is the controlled low strength materials and geopolymers. So we can use this controlled low strength materials and geopolymers for our construction activity. We will come to know about this. And of course, you have seen a lot of plastics, etc., right? These being shredded, the communitors, what you call, right, in a city, correct? And you can see here. And we should have a circuit economy, what you call. Circuit economy is that this waste should be utilized, right? And of course, you are consuming, then you are collecting, you are transporting, you are pulping, and you are cleaning and refining. And then you can make it, recycling, or you can reuse, or whatever it is, and you can also sell it. So this kind of a circuit economy we should develop. And when we develop this circuit economy, this is called cradle to cradle economy. That means there is no kind of a grave. It is not a cradle to grave economy. That means the material was born and it undergoes a life cycle, and after that again it is reborn. So this means it is a cradle to cradle economy, what we call. And of course, you have heard of composting. And of course, it's only a soil conditioner and not much a fertilizer. It is wrong to call it a fertilizer. It is just a soil conditioner, in fact, which has got, in fact, low concentration of NPK, especially when we use the sewage sludges or the sludges from the waste that we are talking about from the cities, the urban environment. And it may have the unused chemicals and the research byproducts, the batteries, used oil, spent solvent, mercury containing items, recalcitrants, and benthic waste from, say, Bellandur tank, other lakes, etc. So we have got what is called recalcitrant. So for example, of a recalcitrant you see is a detergent. So a detergent is going through the wastewater and into the lake, and it is getting deposited under the bed of the lake. That is called the benthic waste. And in fact, though it is organic in nature, it cannot be consumed by bacteria. That is resistant to degradation by bacteria. Such materials are called recalcitrants. And of course, you see here the entire cycle, right, where how you lift the waste, collect the waste, and of course to a collection station, and then the waste processing, right, sublimated, converted, and processed. You get the fuel, you get the gas, you get the electricity. So that means you are retrieving the energy from this waste. So what is, right, we have got a, right, an industry called Kuppekaran industry, which is going to take this as a fuel, that is a gas, and you put it into the gas cylinders and they distribute it. So that's a new kind of a technology that we are seeing here. So you can also see here, there are a lot of things here. The Bellandur Lake in Bengaluru on the old airport road, if you see here, you can see all the waste water, 1/3 of the waste water, right, comes and joins here, is called the Koramangala Chalgata Valley, right, just behind the old airport. And what is happening here, you see, even the entire waste, right, that is collected on the top, right, had just caught fire. So where is this energy coming from? So all these are waste collected, and is due to treatment not being done. In fact, the treatment is not being done. So please note that we also have the domestic waste I told you, but also the industrial waste is there. So apart from domestic waste, that is the human waste, that is due to the flushing right from our bathrooms, from our toilets, we have sewage, we have grey water, we have black water, but we also have specific industries contributing. Like a lot of industries contribute to the waste of different kinds. And how do you manage this? One such kind of a popular industry is the rayon grade pulp industry, where I have myself worked right in the Grasim industry. And therefore, I have taken this example here. So what happens in the rayon grade pulp industry? Let us see how the waste is generated. You get the eucalyptus tree from various points, and you are subjecting it to the chipping process called the chipper house, and you digest this with sulfuric acid. What happens when you digest? You get the alpha cellulose and you get the beta cellulose. And this alpha cellulose has got long fibers, and it is used for pulping and then bleaching, and then it is going to the Graslin factory where the fibers are made and exported to, of course, to Nagda, Madhya Pradesh, where you get the Grasim suitings and shirtings, all these things you will get. So please note that the basic material being vegetation. And ultimately what happens? But what happens to the beta cellulose? Beta cellulose is a very extensively damaging thing to the environment. And it has no use because it's a short fiber. You cannot make use for the industry, right? And therefore, what you do is that you just treat this waste and then leave it to the the river or whatever it is, like the Tungabhadra river in this case, in the Grasim industries. This is called the pre-hydrolysate liquor, PH liquor. Pre-hydrolysate liquor has got a high pollution load. We refer it as biochemical oxygen demand, the BOD. It has got 2 lakh milligram per liter of BOD, right? And a high content of total suspended solids, the TSS. And of course, it's also having high temperature and the high acidity. And if you leave this to the river water, what happens? It sucks the dissolved oxygen in the water, river water, and the fish will die. And when I was working, so we had an episode called the biggest episode of fish kill, right, of Asian episode it is called, right? And we had a lot of problem. So what to do with that? So we have to address this problem of waste management here by treating this pH liquor. And this is pH liquor is a food rich waste, but a nutrient deficient waste. So you have to add some diammonium phosphate and other substances to to see that bacteria can grow well and eat well this waste, and therefore the entire the organic matter is consumed by the bacteria here, and you can also produce electricity, right? If you are using the anaerobic route, you can also produce electricity. So this is one example of the rayon grade pulp industries. So another one where I worked is the what I should say, the Mysore Breweries Limited, where it's called the manufacture of beer, which comes under the food industry. It doesn't come under the chemical industry. It comes under the food industry, where you germinate barley, and the germination of barley to certain limited extent. It is, of course, a known extent. And then what you do is you take it to a lauter tun and turn it, and in the mash kettle, of course, you mash it into a liquor, correct? Very, very rich in nutrients. It is called wort. It is not fermented. It is not fermented. Please note that. And into this wort, it is called wort, W-O-R-T, wort. And this wort, you add yeast. And what happens here is the mash kettle. Lot of solids come out because you have taken the decoction that is called the ore, but whatever remains is the solids, the barley solid waste. What to do with this? This you use it for the cattle, use it for the cattle, but of course it's not for milching cattle, it's called the beef cattle. And please note that it is not a good tendency. Right now there is a ban on cow slaughter also, so you cannot use it. So what you are going to do now, this barley solid waste could be used for anaerobic digestion, and then electricity could be produced, and 30% of the electricity requirement for the brewery can be from this barley solid waste. So please note that this is called the real waste management. And of course, here the word you add yeast because the fermentation has to take place. And this yeast, of course, certain times is discharged into the biological system, that is the treatment plant, where you are expecting settling of the activated sludge. And what happens here? If the yeast is coming in contact with the activated sludge, instead of settling in the treatment plant, what happens is floating occurs. Then your entire mission is defeated. So what happens here is that you have to take out the yeast waste, and of course you can sell it to the bakeries and other things. They will use this for making all your bakery products, cakes and all that. And this wort, of course, is coming as a green beer tank, and from the green beer tank it comes to the bright beer tank. When it comes to the bright beer tank, you do a carbon dioxide test. When you do the carbon dioxide test, you gulp the directly the beer there, and what happens there is that you will have to feel a sensation of carbon dioxide. So for this we use what is called a gehalotometer. Gehalotometer is used for the measurement of carbon dioxide, and one test of carbon dioxide, it involves 70 liters of beer goes into the drain, which is nothing but 700 milligram per liter of BOD that is being added to the waste stream. So it is really a sickening thing. So what to do with this? So again, you had to have the best practices to take out that particular stream and of course treat it. So the other thing is, after this it comes to the bottling plant. In a bottling plant, what happens is that it is a shower of hot water is going to be sprayed on this because the shelf life of the beer has to be maintained. So what happens here is pasteurization is done. And when you do the pasteurization during the process, the bottles will crack and it is going to be a lot of wastage occurs, and this waste kind of liquid is going to join the wastewater stream, of course, which has to be treated. Otherwise, it causes high BOD discharge. And you can always use, therefore, the best practices in the in-house treatment of the industry, any industry. Maybe the sugar industry, it may be the fertilizer industry. We have to deal, our engineers should deal with all the industries. So please note that is very important here. And of course, you have the kind of treatment. I'm just giving an example of a biogas from wastewater where these industries or even the domestic waste. So in our college also, I will show you, a similar kind of a unit is there where you have a system called the upflow anaerobic sludge blanket reactor. Upflow, because you see the arrows, it is going up. So in our college also, AMC Engineering College, we are one of the best colleges here. We have the best practices here. So we are having this kind of a unit called the UFASP unit. How does it work? So we have a generation of around 120 kiloliters per day of wastewater. It also comes from the hostel, from the other parts of the AMC college and the AMC Engineering College main block. mechanical block, etc. It is all taken into an equalization tank, and from the equalization tank, it is taken in the upflow. So you are seeing it is going up, right? So, and please note that this kind of a system is going to create what are called globules of the organic matter. And these globules of the organic matter are, of course, used by anaerobic bacteria. And of course, this anaerobic bacteria, the small granules are taken, consumed by them. And this, the entire globule is converted into organic acids by the first set of bacteria called the acid formers. And acid means organic acids, correct? Like alpha ketone, glutaric acid, salicylic acid, etc. It is formed. I will show you, right? And if you have time, we will show you there in our college campus. We have this. And please note that this entire organic acid is further treated by the second set of bacteria, right, which is called gasifiers. And these gasifier bacteria is going to convert these organic acids into what? Into methane, carbon dioxide, and water. Methane, of course, is going to be taken and collected in right, balloons. You can see the balloon there in our college. So balloons, and then from this balloon, it is supplied to the hostel kitchen. And in the hostel kitchen, what happens? You are going to just utilize it for your culinary purposes, that is for cooking purposes. So that means I have not wasted any of my waste. I converted into gas, and the liquid that is treated has got, same as the water. You will see same as the water. I have saved the water. I have saved the gray water from the toilets, etc. And I have used it for making gas. And then, of course, I'm using it for cooking. And the remaining treated wastewater has got less than 10 milligram per liter of BOD, less than 10 milligram per liter of total suspended solids. From 300 to 10 is such a great kind of a transition. And this kind of a treated wastewater can be recycled for flushing the toilets, or you are seeing a green cricket pitch. All of you are seeing right now, correct, the green cricket pitch. See, please note that this is, of course, the right water which is having the nitrates, which will help our right lawns, and also the vegetable gardens, and also many of our vegetations and the right trees over here, right? We can make use of this kind of a thing. You see, the collected biogas is being collected into a dome, correct? You are all watching this, correct? The smallest granules also tend to escape with the water flow. And I'm going to show you right with the this is the best energy management using waste. You are seeing this, right? It is sucking of the thing. And energy. This in civil engineers, right, will do all this. The Windrose diagrams. Orientation analysis is conducted. Shadow analysis. Reflection analysis. Solar analysis. Solar radiation studies. Fire and smoke analysis also being done here, correct? This computational fluid dynamics analysis. When you come here, we will explain to you. Life cycle analysis. Economic performance of the energy systems. CFC reduction. This, of course, this is renewable energy, what we are talking about in Luxottica. It's all from the waste to energy, waste to energy. Geothermal also and wind technologies also can be used. In AMC, we have a hybrid generator. Solar energy to electricity. Renewable energy. And wind energy also. We have a hybrid system like this. We have the hybrid system with courtesy NAL, National Aerospace Laboratories. So the entire waste can be used for meeting the 50% of energy requirement in any industry or in a college or any institute. So this is the message that I want to pass it. You can see here. The landfills, of course, you classify the liquid waste, metal waste, and glass waste. And of course, rich raw materials. You can extract the materials and reuse it as well. As raw materials, you can use this entire waste materials. It can be used as raw materials for some other process. And of course, bamboo, right? We extensively use bamboo. We can make use of the sustainable technologies for building construction, and all the waste can be made use of. These are all made of waste. Wood-based waste are used here in construction. How nice it is. So you're saving energy. You are not manufacturing, and therefore you are saving energy. So that you should know. It's a hidden energy. And of course, you can give the most. See, this is how the urinals are there. You can take out the urine and then make use of it as well. You can separate it. Is of course, the VOCs are the problem. Volatile organic chemicals, correct? You know, VOC causes cancer, so we had to see the low VOC has to be used. Low VOC has to be used. The daylight, of course, is improves the indirect environment. You can see this is self-evident. Reflected, re-emitted energy, incident energy. This is the waste energy. So, I just to conclude, I say that there is nothing called waste in our system, and all that we have the mindset, we are supposed to convert this, whatever we call the waste, into a usable form. That is called recycling. And once we recycle the waste, what happens is we get what is called a circuit economy. That means that we need not go for the manufactured resource. If you are not going for the manufactured resource, your carbon dioxide discharge into the air is prevented. Therefore, carbon footprint mitigation is going to happen. If the carbon footprint mitigation is happening, what happens then? The suspended particulate matter and carbon dioxide that is going to the outer atmosphere will be stopped. And actually what happens is CO2 and SPM is causing a glassy layer around the atmosphere. And in fact, it is trapping all the solar energy. And when the solar energy is trapped inside, so what happens? Then it gets heated up. Then there is a melting of the right North Pole and the South Pole, right? What happens? Then the sea levels will increase. And once the sea level increase, then there will be no New York, no Australia, no Bangladesh, no central London. All these are going to be wiped out. This is why we signed what is called the Paris Accord in 2016. Correct? India is signatory, and USA, in fact, did not sign, and now, Mr. Biden is signing now. Correct? But we signed it in 2016 to limit the amount of carbon dioxide discharge. How do we do that? By all the practices that I explained to you right now. That means considering waste as not waste, but waste as our resource. Thank you very much. 4R is the mantra that I give you. Correct? What are the 4R that I have already told you? Correct? Reduce, recycle, recover. Correct? Please note that this is going to be the mantra for you henceforth at AMCEC. Correct? You have to have the best practices to maintain this, right? And the 4R mantra, you keep it, and whatever I have taught you today, right? You can, right, come over to my department. I will take you around the campus, the beautiful campus by our honorable chairman has given us nice facilities here, and the hostel lights, right? I will explain to you, right, how your own waste is being recycled into your kitchens as gas, right? And this is really exciting campus, I tell you. So we will all meet off of the for the offline courses, and then we will be enjoying. Thank you very much, and thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to deliver this talk through this induction program, and thank my management and especially our EVP sir for giving this opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Time.